don't care what no one says, but when you are spiritually sensitive, you can see a lot of fake shit in people. Co-workers at your job, you can see a lot of bullshit. You can feel bullshit. You can feel the fakeness. I don't care what no one says. When you are spiritually sensitive, you feel energy. You feel the hate. And you could tell the ones that barely fuck with you like that because they don't even speak to you. When you come in and say good morning, they'll look right at you. They won't speak back. They will try to make you feel guilty for speaking to them. A lot of these co-workers will make you feel like you don't even exist. And you know they don't fuck with you like that because they will team up with their cliques, but not with you. They will try to make you feel left out. And because you're spiritually sensitive, you feel that. Just like with certain people at your job, you can feel when their energy has shifted towards you. All before they used to speak to you, they used to crack jokes here and there. Now all of a sudden when they see you, they go, oh, hey. But as soon as they see they clicks, oh, hey girl, what's up? What's up, my nigga? Cause on some real shit, when you are spiritually sensitive, you feel all the energy. You know when somebody hating on you. You know when somebody don't like you. You know when somebody is jealous of you. And some of y'all probably think that you are crazy for feeling this way. You're not crazy. You are just spiritually sensitive. And that's a good thing. And can I just keep it a stack? Almost every job has a hater. Because when you are spiritually sensitive, you will feel every negative energy, even positive too now. But your spirit gonna tell you who to fuck with and who not to, and who to watch out for.
Toxic work environments are a real deal. Many of these jobs know about it. Your job probably is one of them, and they do not care. So today we're going to get into some TikToks of some people talking about different experiences they've had in working in toxic environments. Before we get started, I'm TT Rosie, your local auntie, and this is Glow Up Girly, where we help you heal, glow, and grow. Please like, share, and subscribe. Let's get into it.
Is your job making you sick? Because mine sure did. I'm going to tell you something. I started off as a very healthy individual, only to be beat down for like 10 years out of my 20-year career. And when I mean by beat down, I mean just treated in the worst way. And I'm a fairly strong person, and I usually don't let anybody talk down to me or do anything to me. But every person that is watching this video, you already understand that when your check is tied to you getting along with people and you just going along with the flow, that is what I did for so many years until I realized that it wasn't worth it. You see, I had developed anxiety, depression, and PTSD based on the chronic stress of being beat down and dealing with workplace bullying and mobbing each and every day. And I'm telling you guys, it's not worth it, because if you drop dead today, best believe they are filling your position tomorrow. So I went from this vibrant person who loved their job and was very health conscious and everything to just waking up and just dreading my day. And when you wake up and dread your day, you already know you are in the wrong space. You're in the wrong head space, you're in the wrong energy space, and then you go into an environment that just compounds that. And a lot of these employers that are allowing toxic work environments, they know this. They know exactly what they're doing. And what you guys may not realize, but I've done my research and me in my healing journey, because it took me about 2 years to get to where I am today, where I can talk to you. And these stories, I think I probably have about 200 and something videos on my YouTube channel. That's not even scratching the surface of my experiences. Again, you guys, I went through this for like 10 years, and thank God I have been away from that toxic work environment for a little bit over 5 years. So I want to be the example of what not to do. When you get the nudges from God, divine, universe, whomever, this is a non-denominational channel here. So please don't come at me with the Bible verses. There's different people that watch this channel. We are all about workplace bullying, abuse, and mobbing. I'm strictly talking about where you get your your strength from, okay? Where your faith is. Wherever you have to plug into, that's what I had to do to finally get myself out of this rut. Because, you guys, I was having nightmares. I gained like 45 pounds. I was drinking more than I would ever thought I would drink. I was popping a pill just to go to work. And, you guys, the whole situation, it just went from 0 to 100. And I don't even know where I lost myself. But I lost myself in just trying to do the work. Trying to be the best employee that I could be, only for me not to be appreciated. So I want you guys to put your health first, because health is wealth, and so is your time. And time is something that you can't get back. Your energy, you can't get that back either. And so if you have something to give, make sure that you're giving it to places and people that appreciate you. And if you find yourself declining in your health, whether it be mentally or physically, you got to make sure that you're looking out for you. You got to make sure that you're doing what's best for you. Again, let me be the shining example of what not to do. When I was tapped on the shoulder for so many years saying, hey, Chris, you're better than this. Hey, you can find something else. And in my mind, I was like, no, I can't. I've been here since I was 18 years old, and I co-opted and I worked myself up the ladder, and I can see myself retiring from here, only for God to tell me, no, baby, I got another plan for you. And clearly my plan was to go through all this so that I can help millions and millions of people out there. And that is my intention every time I turn on this camera, so that I'm helping each and every one of you. So again, if it's not making you feel good, if it is not contributing to your health and your happiness, by all means, I don't care how much money, because I tell you, when I told my husband, he was like, no more. I need you here for my kids. I need you here for me. And my doctor saw what I didn't see, and my family was seeing what I wasn't seeing, and I'm trying to hang on to this job because I'm like, no, I can handle it. And they're like, no, you can't. How many panic attacks are you going to have? How many times are you going to go to the hospital? How many times are you going to be rushed to urgent care? It's not worth it. So if you had even a third of my experiences, think twice about where you're working. And if your job is making you sick, you need to find some place that is going to support your wellness. So I hope this message helps someone out there. I'm Kristen Peoples with bossofculture.org. Bye.
Thank you. Yeah, that really touched me, because she's right. When you're in a toxic environment, whether it be your job, home, or anything like that, it does hit you physically. I get motion sickness. I've been dealing with motion sickness or vertigo since I was a kid. And what I noticed was, when I was a supervisor at my last job, it got to a place where I was starting to get headaches and get dizziness a lot more often. And like I get them, anyways. But while I was there, it happened a lot. And if you suffer from vertigo, you have to get sleep. If you don't sleep well, then that could definitely do it. But I think also it was the stress of the job, because once I stopped working there, of course, I still have my dizzy spells sometimes, but it's nowhere near the level that it was. Like, every now and then I do have to take off of work for it, but when I was there, I took off of work for it more. And, because it's like when you get dizzy, you can't sit in front of a computer screen all day. You can't sit in front of lights all day. You have to relax. You have to lay back. And I also get migraines as well. So after I stopped working there, I didn't have another job lined up or anything. And, things wasn't perfect. But at the same time, I had my peace of mind. I was a lot more stress free. And so I agree with what this lady was just saying. I really appreciate her contribution, because if you are in a toxic work environment, you do need to figure out a way to get out. You'll never know what's out there unless you try. We're always, a lot of times we feel like, oh, I can't leave because of all that I've put in, and you feel like you're losing something. But to be honest, you really don't know what you would gain if you just take a leap of faith and step on out.
Let me tell you something. Work from home is worse than working in person. And here's why. We'll get into it thinking like, oh, this is going to be easy because I get to be at home. I get to chill, all that. But it's not like that. Let me tell you how it really is. The reality kicks in after training. After they baby you into action, right? You get to production. It's like a monster came and changed your life forever. Right? Because then you get micromanaged. Now you have people telling you you're not following this right. Oh, if they told you this in training, disregard that because this is how we do it over here. Oh, if they told you this in training, oh, that doesn't matter because we're doing things differently over here. So it's like you have to re-scramble your brain after they already overloaded it in training. And now you're having to re-scramble everything again. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. The customers that you deal with, you better be ready to handle some harassment, belittling, people talking down on you that don't even know you from a can of paint, people talking about your profession. You got to be ready to deal with all of that. All of that is what comes with it. It's not just sitting in a chair for 8 hours. You're being mentally tormented for 8 hours. That's what it really is. And people don't understand it. They think it's like so fun. Like, yes, let's all work from home. When I tell you it's not for the weak, it's not for the weak. The way these people talk, they're vicious. They have no filters. And then on top of that, it's like you gotta service them with a smile. You gotta say you understand everything, even though it's not even meant to be understood, because it's obviously something that you can't do, but yet you have to sit there and act like you understand, because that's a part of the company guidelines. And if you don't act like that, guess what? Your QA audit is getting dinged and you're getting pulled into a meeting. And don't even get me started on the condescending energy that we get in every one-on-one meeting. The fake energy, the fake friendliness. Oh, how was your day? Just so they can nail you over the head with how terrible you sound on the phones and what needs to be perfected with the call flow. And oh, you forgot to say the name, you forgot to say the survey, you forgot to do this and that. Like, hold on. I'm a grown adult just like you are. And it's the way that they will try to little girl you or little boy you in the meetings, bro. You would think, like, hold on. Is this school or is this a job? Because the way you're trying to little girl me and tell me, oh, you need to go back to square one and the procedures. No, I'm not doing any of that. None of it. None of it. And then let's talk about how unfair them QA audits be. It's like, come on, I did the best that I possibly could in my human being power. I am not a robot, so y'all cannot expect me to bring robotic energy. It's like them audits, they will literally ding little small things, give you a 92, 95, 97, but they don't want to give you 100 because they'll find something minuscule. They'll be like, oh, there was dead air for like 3 seconds. Dead air for 3 seconds. I was literally typing. What do you mean dead air for? And they'll be like, you need to build a connection with the customer, so we're gonna ding you for that because you didn't ask them how their day was. You didn't ask them how the weather was, so we're gonna ding you for that. Like, everything is a ding. Everything is a ding. It's almost like traumatizing to open up that email to the point where it's like, okay, there's no way you can be perfect at this type of job. There's no way. There's no way. Oh, and don't even get me started on how you can't ever miss a day. You miss a day at a work from home job, all hell breaks loose. They're putting you on a warning. They're saying all of a sudden, it's a whole bunch of things that transpire all behind one missed day. And don't even try to get sick. Don't even try to get sick. If you get sick and you work from home, they don't care nothing about that. They're gonna be, come in anyway. We still need you. You at home, right? You got your medicine and your water next to you. Come in anyway. Like, it is a brutal field. Now, some jobs are different than others, right? But for the most part, we're all in the same mental turmoil together. We're all in the same mental battle together, okay? And that's just how it's gonna be. So, and then don't even get me started on the fact that you could literally go through a whole day of crazy customers, right? And the next day you gotta go through it again. And then the following day you gotta go through it again. And you gotta keep going through it until your off day. Because you can have a plethora of bad calls back to back. It's just all bad apples. And you have to maintain your professionalism. You have to maintain your tone. You have to maintain your energy, because guess what? If you don't, all of a sudden you're getting pulled into a meeting because your tone wasn't adequate today. You're getting pulled into a meeting because you didn't speak with a smile. What happened on that call? I mean, you assisted them well. You did everything you were supposed to do within the guidelines, but you didn't talk with a smile. That's what they'll tell you. So it almost pulls at your mental even more, because you're like, I already had a bad day. And you're telling me that I could do a little bit more, even though you're hearing how crazy these people are talking to me, and you're still somehow taking their side. It doesn't matter what we go through in our personal lives, we still have to be there in support of the customer. Where's my support, huh? Where's my support when I need that? Where's my support? Because I feel like as CSRs, we should get support. We should get some type of incentive to fix the mental turmoil that we have to go through. Anyways, y'all get my point. Y'all get my point. Go check my book out in my bio. It might help a little bit. I'm done.
Yeah, that's crazy. I used to work in a call center when I first moved to Arizona. I worked in a call center for 5 years. When I first started working there, I went from being a customer service like she was, and I moved up to like taking escalation calls, and That was a beast by itself. And I was like, I wanted to be a supervisor because I want to get paid more. I like being a leader. Bad idea. But yeah, that's a whole nother story. Maybe one day I'll do my own call center story times because once I get started talking about it, I will go on and on and on. But everything she said is real. One thing I will say is that she's right. Like at the call center, like I can only speak for the one I work for, but they don't care. Like they might act like they care, but they really don't. People will have deaths in the family. I've had deaths in the family, and they did not care. And it's like, as long as you can come in, that's all we care about. We used to have weekly supervisor meetings where we all had to get together and go through our attendance, and we had to say who was late. We if people come in late, we had to mark them late. If they was like 7 minutes late or something like that, that can be an occurrence depending on where their attendance was. And we had to say in a meeting, did we put the person on a corrective action? Like it was just super duper annoying. And to be honest, things like that could be very frustrating for an employee because people go through all kinds of personal things in their life. And really, I don't like micromanaging. I don't like to have to say, oh, well, you were 7 minutes late today. Like, I'm just glad you're here. Let's just appreciate the fact that they're here. And it was hard for me as a leader, as a supervisor, because, we don't always have the pull that the employees think that we do. And as far as the micromanaging, even from a supervisor level, my manager was a super duper micromanager, and she was the tip of the iceberg on why I left, because basically she was my supervisor, she was my manager when I was a supervisor, and she drove me up the wall. She was like a helicopter mom. She was always hovering. Like I said, like I'll tell a whole other story time on that, but I will say this. After I moved to another department and I was a supervisor over there, I promised myself that if anything ever happened that ever caused her to be my supervisor or my manager again, that would be my last day there. And it happened. But that's a story time for another day. But I just want to say, I agree with what she's saying. She is not lying. Those QAs, those quality analysis calls are something else. Like we had to do 10 per person per month. And at first, they didn't really have a problem with when we did it, as long as it was done by the end of the month. And then they started scrutinizing that. They wanted you to do 33%. It depends on how many days of the month that it were, but basically they'll split it up. Like every week you have to have so many done, and it don't matter how many people are on your team. You have 7 people on your team, you have 17 people, or however many people on your team, and you have to do them for each person. And I'm gonna be honest, I got wrote up as a supervisor. I got wrote up because I didn't have all of my QAs done by the end of the week. When the panoramic happened, they did cut the amount down from 10. I think for temporarily, I think it was maybe like 4 per person. Then they went back up to 6, or I don't remember where it was by the time I left, but it's a lot because you're not just doing QAs on the members of your team. You're also doing a whole ton of other things as well. And to be honest, now that I don't work there anymore and I'm just looking back on things, I can honestly say that I still agree with how I felt when I worked there, was that they give you a lot of unnecessary work. A lot of unnecessary work. And I don't like the way that I had to do micromanagement on some of my employees. Like, for example, if we got really busy with phone calls, let's say someone went to the bathroom, I literally had to go and find somebody like, hey, we're busy right now. We're in code, what's it, 5, whatever, we're queuing. And you need to come on back to your seat. Like I don't like doing stuff like that. People are grown, but call centers are not for the weak. They really are not. So you ever think about working at a call center, some of them pay good, some of them have really good incentives, but it is a lot. It is a lot to deal with.
I got fired from a work from home job that I've been working at for 3.5 years. Well, almost 3 years. Let me tell y'all the tea. So first of all, this is a job that I got after a car accident. So it meant a lot to me because like it was one of them jobs where it was like an easy get into role where they just had you do one interview with like a big group of people and they just asked you if you wanted the job or not, and then they told us that they were going to send the equipment. So I was excited about that. But then it's just like the micromanagement was crazy. The people were crazy. The QA audits were crazy. But the money was good. They gave us a raise within 2 to 3 months of working with them. They gave us a $3 raise. We went from 15 an hour to 18. And I was like, hold on, I'm gonna have to stay here a while. But once I hit, I want to say my prime year, when I decided, hey, I want to hop on TikTok, I want to make more content, that's when everything went left. So once I started making TikToks about working from home, and I started doing more live streams and just showcasing my life a little bit more and showing people like, hey, this is what I really deal with, that's when things went left even more, because like the job didn't appreciate that, obviously. But it's just like my page started catching traction, and that's a good and a bad thing, because once that happened, it's like the job, I guess they got word of it, or somebody was stalking me on a burner profile. I don't know which one of the two it was, but it was literally the summer of 2024, y'all. I was in my prime. It was June 27th to be exact. I remember that day because that was the anniversary of the day that I got hired with them back in June of 2021. I got hired with them. And then June of 2024 was when they wanted to send y'all. I need to be serious because this is a very serious topic. But it's hard to be serious because now, like, the way my life is elevated since then. Anyway, let's talk about it. So June 27th of 2024, I remember I was 2 hours into my shift, and that's when things got weird. That's when they were just like, hey, there's an emergency meeting that we need you to come into. And I was like, huh? And mind you, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know. But they told me I needed to come into this emergency meeting for whatever weird reason. As soon as I got off the call with who I was on the call with, mind you, I was on the call with a nice person. They were an old person. They were telling me about their life. We were building rapport, right? We were building rapport while I'm resolving their issue. And I'm thinking the day is great. I'm like, oh, this is a great day. I'm following the metrics. What's going on? Why do we need to go into a meeting? And it was like a rude awakening once I had to actually get into that meeting and find out what they said. But y'all, I'm gonna have to do a part 2 of this because this video is already long enough as is. So if you want a part 2, let me know in the comments.
All right, so I did find the part 2. So let's see.
Right? And it was literally 2.5 hours into my shift. I was into the meeting. It was 2 different managers. They were asking me how my day was going, just the basic generic questions. And you know, obviously I'm having all this anxiety while this is going on. Like, bro, I know this is not gonna end well, because like my actual manager was on vacation at the time. So it was like me against these random managers I've never met. So after we got past the small talk, they had said, oh, you know, we got like an anonymous tip off from someone that we won't say, that you are like on TikTok while you're at work. I'm like, well, that's a false allegation because I'm a content creator. I do make work-related content, but it doesn't have anything to do with my actual work. I've never mentioned a company name, never mentioned employees, never showed my screen, never talked about anything confidential. Like, this is all things that I do in my own world. But anyways, they weren't having it. They heard me out, but then they told me I had to clock out for the day, and they told me that they would let me know in 2 days whether or not I could come back. And they didn't let me know in 2 days. They let me know that same day at 5 p.m. And they were just straight up just like, you're done. Got the email, said that I was terminated, this, that, and the third. And the story just gets even crazier. The whole meaning behind that was there was this girl on TikTok that I didn't know from a can of paint, that every time I would go live and talk to y'all, just talk to y'all, like not showing nothing about work, just talking to y'all, this girl was screen recording me every single time for like 3 months or 4 months straight. She didn't even work at my job, mind you. She wasn't even an employee, none of that. And I guess that she sent stuff over. They didn't like what I had said. And mind you, I didn't mention anybody's names. I didn't mention kind of all that other stuff. It was just all just me talking about my personal experiences, right? Like just me talking about my personal life. So anyway, long story short story long, that's what ended up happening. I was devastated. I felt the type of way. I cried that day. You know, I came to my platform, told my followers what was going on. Some people were trying to clown me for it. But at the end of the day, I really don't care. I'm a risk taker in life. So I know I've been doing content since 2017. Okay, so no job puts fear in me because I've never had no issue with my jobs and me making content. I currently have a work from home job. I do still have a job, just so y'all know. I'm not out of a job right now at the moment, no. And then after all that transpired, I ended up getting into the life insurance business and becoming a life agent, literally. Like I had my license in April, but I was doing nothing with it. And I knew that this was something that I needed to actually use and utilize, but I didn't use it at the time. I was so comfortable with that job. So it's like, I feel like God put me in that position to actually elevate me and help me grow, because it really did help me grow. Like not even 2 days after that, if y'all go into my testimonies category, you will see, like I literally made a $1,500 sale. My very first life insurance client I got, and it was 2 days after I got let go from that job. And then a week after that, TikTok sent me an invite to be in the creators program. So it was like blessing after blessing after blessing. Like my page was growing tremendously. Yes. You know, I'm getting clientele. Like I was good. And I just blew up my business out the water. October of last year, I ended up making $5,000 that month with just my business. And then that's when I realized, I'm like, okay, let me get a little part-time. I was like, let me get something part-time, because I had so much freedom. At that point in my life, I had so much freedom. It literally, they did what they did end of June, and August, September, October, I was just chilling, running my business, talking to clients, having meetings here and there. Like I was living a life. And then I was like, I kind of miss working from home, which I know that sounds crazy to say, but I missed it. And I'm like, you know what, let me give me a little part-time. And that's when I found my part-time job, and I work with them. It's only like 7 to 2 chill hours. I'm off on the weekends. Thursdays and Fridays I get off at 1:30. And I have another offer that just came my way that I might jump into in May. You know, everything goes well with that, I might jump into that in May. So I really enjoy my life now. You know, I'm in a better place now. That job taught me a lot, because there was a lot that I went through with them. It was a lot of micromanagement, everything else. But I could say more. But like I said, just to keep it on the safe side, that's what happened. But I'm not sad about it in any way, shape, or form. I was when it happened. But all that did was open a door for blessings for me. Like my life, like me and my husband, like he got a nice job. I got a nice job. We was able to move into a brand new place a couple months after that whole thing happened. You know, like it's like life started to really speed up for me in the best way possible, financially, mentally, physically. Like everything just got good. So more of the story is, yes, you do got to be careful with what you say online, and that's in any case situation. I know there's gonna be probably some comments saying that's why you don't need to post about work, and that's why you need to do this. But guess what, as a content creator, we take risks. We post what people don't like to post. That's why we're content creators, right? We do the things that other people are scared to do. And if that comes with risk, so be it. So be it. So be it. It is what it is, because that's not going to stop me. I'm still going to post content. I'm still going to share my story. And I'm still going to be transparent with you guys, because that's all I can be. You know, I'm not going to be messy and drag people in the dirt. I'm not going to say names and do all that, because I don't have to. I don't have to. You know what I'm saying? But that was the end of my story, y'all. I hope that y'all enjoyed this. If you are going through something that's similar, you know, God is going to open another door for you. If you recently got let go from a job, God is going to open a bigger door for you, because that's what he did for me. He opened bigger doors to the point where I was like, wow, I should have been on this. And the crazy thing was, before I got let go from that job, I already was on the fence about that. I was getting to that point where I was getting very tired. And I'm like, oh, if it's going to be my last month, I'm going to give them 30 more days. I just kept telling myself that. And then ironically enough, I got let go. So it just like all the building blocks, it's like I was mad about it at the time, but it's like at the same time, I really manifested that. And God knew I needed something bigger. He knew he had a greater plan for me. That's exactly what happened. So thank y'all for tuning in. I'm going to be doing more story times. I got way more stories to tell y'all. This is just the tip of the iceberg, okay?
Well, what Satan will set up for evil, God will turn it around for good. So what do you guys think about that? What do you think as far as like, you know, people snitching at work? Well, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think she said that the person didn't work there. But either way, you spent time and memory in your phone to screen record what this young lady is doing on her off time with her computer, with her phone or camera or whatever, like how does that affect you? Like I can't see myself being at work busybody like that. Like or like who's paying you to do this? Are you even getting paid? I'm not about to mind other people's business. I have my own business to mind. So I just think that is weird. And then for those people who do work with people and they do things like that to their coworkers, what are you getting out of that? What extra are you getting? A pat on the back? A cookie? Because they'll let you go so fast. That's the thing, these jobs, they do not care about you. They don't. You could be the best employee. You could work there for 10, 12, 15, however many years. And you do one thing wrong. One thing that they don't like. And you don't even have to do something. They could just decide that they don't like you. And you're gone. You are gone. Okay? So all of this, it reminds me of what's that boy name on Recess? Y'all remember that cartoon Recess? And the boy used to be writing them nose down, snitching on everybody. I cannot think of his name, but that's what I think of. Like you're not getting anything out of that. And then what do you guys feel about people who do content creation and they have jobs and they get in trouble at their jobs? What do you guys think about that? Do you think that it's okay to talk about your job online? Because mind you, we do have freedom of speech for now. But how do you guys feel about that? Do you think that it's okay, or it's okay to a certain extent, or should people not do post work related content at all? Let me know in the comments what you guys think.
So I'm sitting here like mentally preparing for work today because I know conversations either going to be had today or this week regarding me not working on Sunday. And just to paint the picture, my schedule is Monday through Friday. The last Saturday of January, February, and March, I'm required to work. That's in my contract. I do those things. But the culture here is if you don't work before and after your shift, if you're not working during off days, then you don't want to be successful. You're not going to be successful. Basically, like, you're just not it. And I thought that it was maybe just my prior coach's like mindset, but no, it's the whole company's mindset. So what happened is on Friday, my coach calls me and they're like, oh, well, I want you to do this, this, and this all weekend, so Saturday and Sunday. And I was like, well, I'll be here Saturday because that's a required day, but I won't be here Sunday. I won't be there. And they're like, oh, well, I thought you wanted to be successful. And I fucking hate that. Don't try to paint the picture that I don't want to be successful if I'm not willing to dedicate and spend my off time, my free time working. Like, don't do that. So that's already been like rubbing me wrong. But I was like, no, I have things that I need to do. I don't want to be like, I don't think I'll be there. And the conversation will keep going until you basically are like, okay, well, I consider it, or I can see your point. So I'm just like, okay, whatever. So I come in Saturday, work, and I have a friend's birthday that night. And so I'm just, and this whole time I've been kind of contemplating, like, am I going to go ahead and work on Sunday just so I don't have to hear this on Monday? Like, am I going to do it? Blah, 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 just to appease them. And that is an issue that I have struggled with, is doing things for the sake of others and just appeasing them, like sacrificing my own personal feelings and the way it affects me for others. And I'm standing my ground. I'm not doing that anymore. And so I was just like, I'm not gonna do that. I made the decision. I'm not going to work on Sunday. It is my off day. I have things I need to take care of at my house. Like, no, I need a mental day. I'm just not willing to do that. And so I know that it's going to be a conversation of, well, you didn't come in before or after your shifts any last week, and you didn't come in on Sunday. And I just know that at this point, I'm at a point where I'm just going to be like, if that's what's required for me to be successful, then I'm not going to be successful. I'm never going to be successful, and you guys can do whatever you want with that information. And because I'm tired of the conversations. I feel like after you can only listen to some things so many times before you start to believe it. And I'm not going to sit here and be told that I don't want to be successful because I'm not sacrificing my personal time. Like, I'm just not.
That's ridiculous. Sorry about that tapping. I'm dog sitting right now, and she's asleep, and her little nails are tapping up against my desk. So I'm sorry about that. And I kind of want to move her, but I don't want to wake her up. So I'm sorry. But anywho, back to her story. That is super duper annoying. Let me tell you guys, I don't know why I was looking over here. So, but these corporate jobs irk me so bad because this is what they do. Like she said, oh, they say you don't want to be successful. They do that. They have a way with words, and they are really good at manipulation. And corporate jobs are the biggest gaslighters. They're full of gaslighters. I'm sure, pretty sure they gaslight at work and they take it home and gaslight their families. But that's what they'll do. Like I had a manager that she'll come to you, right? And she'll be like, oh, I have such a great opportunity for you. And she'll try to come and try to act so excited. But really the opportunity that she has is more work for me. More work that I do not even want to do. But they try to wrap it up and try to make it seem so exciting. I don't want any extra work. I don't want this project. I already have enough projects I have to do. So and that just kind of triggered me when she was just saying about her wanting to take off work on Sunday, because the job that I had as a supervisor, we were all working from home during the panoramic, but then it was time for everyone to start back to work at the office, and so we were going to do a hybrid schedule where you work part of the week at the office and then part of the week at home. So the day that all of our teams were coming back to work, I had already scheduled a day off. I'll talk about it another time because I will go on and on. But the bottom line is, I scheduled that appointment so that me and my daughter, so we could go and get some imaging done. We had a doctor's appointment. So it wasn't really a doctor's appointment, but we both had to go and get some scans done. So either way, I had already scheduled this time, and they just kept like going on and on and on. The other supervisors, the manager, he's like, well, Rosie, you could do what you want to do. It's really up to you, but it's really important for your team for you to be there for them because it was the first day of everyone coming back. So they wanted us to be there to welcome our teams back to work. In my mind, I'm like, F my team. They're adults. They'll be okay until I come back the next day. So long story short, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I will be completely honest. I'm not going to sit up here and act like, oh, I stood my ground. No, I was like, you know what, forget it. I just went ahead and rescheduled my appointment and I came in to work. And I did have an attitude. So it was like, I might as well not have even took, went anyways. I should have just, stayed at, went to my appointment. I didn't have like a super attitude, but really I was just like, I wasn't my normal cheerful self because I was just upset. I was frustrated and I felt like they basically like backed me into a wall. And let me tell y'all this, right? Only like one or two people from my team went to work that day. So I'm like, what was even the point? I still had people that was either working from home, called out, took off, or what have you. So I really didn't even have a team that day. And then they were coming surrounded like the manager and this other supervisor. They were being so phony and so fake. And I just promised myself like I would never ever do that again. I would never ever allow somebody to pressure me out of doing what I had originally planned on doing. And when I took off of work, I took off of work correctly because the system would not even allow you to take time off unless it wouldn't allow you if you did not do it correctly. The system would not allow you to take off. I didn't have to ask a person. We had a online system that we used to request our time off. So when I put my time off in, I knew it was going to be approved because I had enough vacation time, and then I requested it within the proper time frame. So yeah, these jobs, they be really finessing, and I cannot stand that, and I really hate that for her.
Attention companies of 2025. Talking all y'all. If you work in HR, if you're a hiring manager, if you are responsible for things at your company, this is what we're going to stop doing in 2025. This is what we're going to stop doing in 2025. You're going to stop treating people like crap and then wondering why they don't want to work for you anymore. Quit being shocked that people put in their 2 weeks notice. They don't like you because you don't like them. Treat people well if you want good employees. Stop it. I can't stand it when a company's like, oh, what happened? You.
She's right. So I read somewhere that if a employee is properly engaged, first of all, employees are disengaged. Most employees are disengaged due to poor management. If an employee is properly engaged, with leadership, with their management, with their job, and they're happy about their job, they're likely to perform at a 200% increase than they would be had they been disengaged. And she is so right. Stop mistreating your employees and then expecting them to bend over backwards for you. That's not how it works. Actually, it's the opposite. If you make people feel happy, make them feel welcome, make them feel like you at least care, then they will go to bat for you. They will fight for you. I literally did have people on my team who really, really did have my back. It was only a few, but the ones who did have my back, I really appreciate them. Some people, it wasn't even my, it was, I could say it was my management, but there were certain decisions that I had to make that was not my choice, so I had to be the bad guy. So that's unfortunate, but that's my leadership that caused my leadership to lack, because there were certain things I just had no control over. That's unfortunate. But yeah, if you made it to the end of this video, thank you so very much. Leave some stars in the chat. Tell me in the chat, how do you feel about this conversation? How do you feel about these calls? Have you ever worked at a call center? How do you feel about the people telling and snitching about people, what they do on social media? Do you feel like jobs should keep track of your social media and fire you because of what you're doing on social media, or do it depend on what you're doing on social media? I'd like to hear your thoughts. Well, anyways, thank you so very much for joining. Please, if you enjoy my content, if you found any type of value in this content, please subscribe, please comment, please share this video, and I have more to come. Once again, I am your local auntie, TT Rosie, and this is Glow Up Girly, where we help you heal, grow, and glow. Have a good night. Bye. Mwah.